You are managing a team, and you hit a wall. Two people both claim absolute ownership over a single project, and neither will budge. It is a standoff that threatens to pull your team apart. To break this deadlock, we can look to a strategy developed over 2,000 years ago in the Buddhist Jataka Tales, the wise judge framework. These stories were recorded in ancient Sanskrit manuscripts, preserving problem-solving techniques that have survived for millennia because they actually work in practice. By the end of this video, you will know a specific 4-step method to cut through the arguments, reveal what your team actually cares about, and resolve the standoff. But to execute this framework, you have to meet one strict condition. You must step entirely out of the argument and take on the role of a completely neutral mediator. The original story begins with a fierce dispute. A mother and a demon, a yakshini, both claim the exact same child, and they bring their argument to the future Buddha's judgment hall. Step 1 of our framework mirrors this setup. You must physically bring both parties into a room and specifically isolate the contested asset, for example, the leadership of a major Q3 initiative. Sit them down and let each person state their absolute 100% claim to the project. Do not interrupt them and do not offer any immediate pushback. The trap here is that you might naturally favor the person who argues better, but eloquence does not mean a person actually has the project's best interests in mind. Isolating the asset isn't about finding a solution in that first meeting. It is about freezing the battlefield so you can apply a controlled behavioral test. Back in the judgment hall, the Buddha draws a line in the dirt. He tells the two women to pull the child, stating that whoever drags him across the line wins. This brings us to step 2, designing your own line in the sand. As mediator, you propose a harsh compromise that actively threatens the success of the contested asset. For instance, you might tell your two managers that since they cannot agree, you will split the project budget down the middle and force them to work in completely isolated silos. This animated diagram shows exactly what that proposal does. When a single cohesive project block is divided into two, efficiency and value metrics immediately drop. The psychological purpose of threatening the project isn't the damage itself. When recombined, the project stabilizes. The threat simply strips away prepared talking points and triggers a raw, instinctual reaction to the proposed loss. You are never actually going to execute this destructive compromise. You are simply applying enough theoretical stress to break through their professional facades. In the ancient story, the tug-of-war begins. The demon pulls ruthlessly, but the true mother sees the child suffering. Grieving, she lets go and steps back. Step 3 requires you to watch exactly how your team members react to your proposed compromise. One person might mirror the demon. They are ego-driven, unyielding, and perfectly willing to accept an inferior, siloed project, as long as it means they maintain control and win the argument. The other person will mirror the true mother. They will show visible distress over the proposed damage, pushing back to protect the project's integrity, even if it means giving up their claim. This behavior matrix plots those two reactions clearly. On the vertical axis, we have the desire to win, and on the horizontal, commitment to the project's health. The first reaction plots high on ego and low on care, while the second plots low on ego and high on care. By observing these responses under stress, you separate the people who care about the final outcome from those who merely want to dominate the workplace. Concluding his test, the Buddha asks the crowd who truly loves the child. He then awards the baby to the woman who let go and rebukes the demon. Step 4 is your ruling. You award the project entirely to the team member who prioritized its survival over their own ego. It's easy to view an employee backing down as a sign of weakness or a forfeit. But in the context of this stress test, stepping back is actual proof of responsible custodianship. True ownership means someone is willing to sacrifice a personal victory to ensure the long-term health of the work. Applying this framework takes a toxic, highly subjective standoff and turns it into an objective assessment of merit and care. This flowchart illustrates the progression. 1. Isolate the asset. 2. Propose a line test. 3. Observe the reactions. 4. Make the empathy ruling. That final step shifts your evaluation away from verbal arguments, making care your ultimate metric. Human nature has remained remarkably consistent over thousands of years. As a manager, you will get better results by watching who cares the most, rather than listening to who shouts the loudest. The next time you face an impossible team dispute, try drawing your own line in the sand and let us know your results in the comments.